My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Summers and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Well, we are back. It is ATP Weekly, where we'll be recapping Doha, Rio, and Delray Beach. Fergus, we just got done watching Alejandro Tavio and Thomas Martin Etcheverry, where Etcheverry prevails 3 hours later in a match that I wasn't sure it was ever going to end because we got it back to deuce after Etcheverry had 2 match points, but also it was raining. I wasn't sure, they were just pushing to get this match finished, obviously having to play an extra match today. But wow, what an epic.
Yeah, I honestly 7 hours and 1 minute on court today for Etcheverry. That is a huge effort, obviously including I think that includes rain time, but I mean, just unreal, like from Etcheverry, a set and a breakdown as well in that final. Tabilo kind of threw it away. I mean, throw it away is a loose term in the way that Etcheverry's looked so solid all week, and you kind of, my only question, I thought Etcheverry would beat Tabilo on open grounds anyway, but I just thought would Etcheverry run out of gas, and originally lost the first set, was a breakdown in the second. I was like, okay, probably a step too far, especially hasn't won a title before. Tabilo's won 3. This would have been number 4. Yeah, it wasn't including the rain. Yeah, and the heat delays. 7.
I'm a little angry because I want the exact number because I know that match.
So
how much did they play today?
3 hours, 57 minutes and 37 seconds was his semifinal.
Right,
and
but that spanned from yesterday into today?
No, this all started today. They didn't start yesterday. There was nothing yesterday, was there?
I thought there was.
Was there?
Maybe our producer can help us confirm.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think there was. I didn't think they started yesterday.
Well, we're gonna get to the bottom of it. But
I don't think so. I think
no, I don't think they
Fergus
did.
is right.
Okay.
I think they didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, producer, just hopping in and then jumping straight back out. But yeah, so 3 hours, 57 minutes and 37 seconds was his semi-final, and the final was 3 hours 4 minutes. So evens out to about 7 hours 1 second. Yeah. Unreal, just unbelievable.
Fergus, I already tweeted it out, but I just think always the way I've watched Etcheverry, he fits the term in the description. I said the marathon man. Like he is one of the fittest players on tour in terms of a duration, perspective. He's always due to go 3 sets with a lot of mediocre players, but he's always able to outlast, right? And that's a strength in and of itself, right? That's a weapon in and of itself. And today it was the most important one. But as you said, like I kind of felt like his spirits were gone, even like early in the match. Yeah, he broke to start the match, but Tabio broke back, got another break. I think he went on like 3 or 4 consecutive games there. It was kind of just like fighting to like hang around. And as you mentioned, down an early break in the second, it didn't feel like there was much life, but the guy just kept going. Just totally, just so impressive as he outlasted Tabio. What I was thinking about this kind of as we were going into the show, like what went wrong for Tabio? I mean, I have some thoughts in my mind, but just curious, like up a set and a break, kind of in total control, ATP 500 title, just a few holds away, and then things change.
Well, he even had break points at 4-all to then serve for it, right? At 5-4 in the second. You know, you're thinking break point, 4-all, probably Etcheverry goes big, misses, Tabilo breaks, serves for it. But I just think he almost just, as soon as that break, he found that the pass at 3-2 in the breaker, and everything just shifted from there. Like, it was Etcheverry was holding on to that point, like, let's see if I can force something. Gets to a breaker, finds that bit of magic. It just, I'll always, in those sorts of moments, I'll always remind me of the Vacherov backhand pass in Shanghai, where it seemed like everything was lining up for him to win that week. And it just kind of shifted. And then, set 3, Tabio didn't really lay a glove on him. Didn't, like, in terms of, real pressure. It was, I was watching the match points. Etcheverry looked so solid. Especially Tabio was trying to pin him in backhand corner, and Etcheverry was happily going cross every single time with good enough depth that, and because it was raining and it was super slow. Like, Etcheverry had so much time, and he was happy to just keep extending these rallies, keeping it as long as possible. And Tabio just didn't really, had that juice point when he was serving for it, went big, miss, smashes the racket. It felt as though since that pass at 3-2 in the breaker, it felt as though it was just one of those momentum shifts, and Tabilo just couldn't do it. I watched the Etcheverry versus Fourier in the quarterfinals, and Etcheverry in the second set served so well. And I think in the final game, he actually served really nicely. And how easy would it have been for him to have thrown in a double fault in there somewhere? Just, pressure, nerves, was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tabio definitely got a little tight. I felt that as the finish line essentially crept up. That's how I felt in terms of Tabio. But on the other hand, like Etcheverry, even like I said, throughout the match, I felt like he was bailing out of some of these rallies. And I was just waiting. Is he going to get a second wind? Is that even possible when you played 3 hours earlier in the day? But it's just mind blowing, honestly, if you think about it, in terms of time on court, setting a breakdown, really just out of it. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's just like a few big points there where he's able to outlast. Even in the tiebreak, I said to some people, he hit 3 really important lines. The first one at 0-0 hits the back of a line to set himself up with an easier put away inside the service line. I think he hit another, maybe the 4th point, and then a big serve. But as you mentioned, that pass, man, and it was such a good. I mean, it was a great serve from Tabio. Etcheverry's not even in the frame, and he knew he kind of had to go to the open court. Wasn't convincing by any means. Followed it up, and it's just one of those impressive passes on the run from Etcheverry. But yeah, like I said, I feel like this performance just kind of like encapsulates Thomas Etcheverry as a player. And it was even funny because I messaged you earlier. I'm like, for me, like, he offers such a veteran presence on tour, in terms of his all court game, his ability to, well, he doesn't do amazing on hard courts, but he's always in the he's in the conversation for an upset when he draws a big player, at a Grand Slam. But yeah, I mean, it's his first title. It's really, really impressive.
And there are actually very few guys, I would say, on tour that could play 7 hours in a day and, come through. Alcaraz is one. I wouldn't put Sinner in that category. I would probably say Nori. just because these guys are just so fit, like just able to just keep going, like churning out like points with like, you know, Etcheverry collapsed to the floor when he won, and you would, wouldn't you? You know, you've just won your first ATP title and you've been on court for 7 hours. And I think he this is a really fitting way for him to do it. You know, he was just grinding out points. Even on the second match point, he was scrambling for his life, and I was thinking this would be so perfect to encapsulate his week and this day if he won it with, you know, a Tabilo error or even like a running pass, because, you know, he's just worked so hard, and that also encapsulates his career, right? You know, he does so much work, and to not have a title next to his name feels wrong. So, you know, it's nice, and you know, this is a big title, you know, Rio 500, you know, it's a big moment for him, and you know, he deserves it.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And I kind of want to like talk a little bit about Tabio as well. But also like want to look at the Etcheverry run. So I think to start with Tabio, we were briefly talking about him last week in terms of, you know, big win over Fonseca. Actually, I was actually had this match circled. I was curious like what was going to happen. Once we got to the final 8, I'm like, okay, like it's really anyone's title at this point. But I was curious if we were going to get sort of a revenge match for Tavio as he lost to Etcheverry just 10 days ago in Buenos Aires. So you mentioned last week, and it still had me thinking because look, I'm not like convinced by it, but you mentioned the serve. Tabio's serve, like holding him back. Do you still feel the same way in that sense?
I wouldn't say so. This week was different. I felt like it was, I don't know, he was more productive on serve. I mean, he hit 11 aces in this final, so, you know, this is like, it's hard to say that, but I just feel like his service motion kind of tells a lot about where he's like, he doesn't, it's not that he doesn't serve big, because, you know, you hit 11 aces on a clay court, and a heavy clay court at that, like you don't get much heavier on tour, right? And it's also raining, so it's super slow. But you can read his serve, where he's going to go, especially on the second. The ball toss it almost looks really relaxed, like he's like just tossing it up there and just sending it in. Obviously it's not the case, but I don't know, the serve didn't hold him back this week, but and neither did in the final. I think that's I don't think that's a fair judgment, but I just think Etcheverry was fantastic on return today, and took his chances. I mean, also, how easy would it have been for, you know, Etcheverry? Etcheverry had points for double break, and he did in the third, didn't take them. You know, was that a chance for Tabilo to come in, kind of assert himself? Had love 15 in the next game.
Yeah,
you know,
I think even 30 all too. I was like,
yeah.
Time.
And you know, the man's played 7 hours on court. Etcheverry was not serving 100%. You know, feel as though he had to impose himself a little bit more, but it was so slow that Etcheverry was happy to chase balls all day, and yeah.
I mean, I have a few things. The patterns, like it was really like the same 3 patterns all match, and it was the Etcheverry backhand that was having to do most of the work. Tabio, like he's happy to play the drop shot, and I think everyone's aware of that. Sometimes I feel like he overplays it. Today, it felt like I'd say normal, and I didn't think Etcheverry was enjoying having to run to those drop shots. So, you know, that was something I was keeping an eye on. But yeah, I felt like both these players, they, you know, once again, it's a 500 final we're talking about, but both tight. Like I feel like Tabio, maybe we see it more on the grass and the hard court, like goes after his forehand a bit more. But yeah, just felt like both of them kind of held back. You know, we know TME has the big inside out forehand. That's kind of his coveted shot, but he did, as you saw, kind of towards the tail end of that match, took some more chances on the inside in, and it definitely paid off. But I did want to mention, like our producer was just showing it. Like I don't know which which fall to the floor was more epic, the semifinal win over
Or the
Kopriva,
final.
or the final
Yeah.
one? Because the semi was pretty epic itself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't honestly, like, it's the self-belief as well, you know, in having, you've just played 4 hours and you know, you've got like 3 hours to, you know, have an ice bath, reset before you've got Tabilo in the final. And, you know, yes, it's not Cerundolo. Yes, it's not Fonseca. But Tabilo is a big name. The guy's 3 ATP Tour titles. Like, it's not like he was going in playing world like 150 that he could relax. This was a big challenge, and Tabilo made it a challenge. But Etcheverry purely ground him down and worked out the challenge, and it was just a testament to him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And let's quickly recap this run. It even started with a tough one against the Shark in Komansanya, who's been looking for some confidence. Took 3 sets to get that first victory. Then it was Gabas, who I still don't think he's gotten his flowers or his moment yet, but he's a very good dirt player. Definitely a tough challenge, and at least showed it. Tie break, and I remember Etcheverry was serving for that match and got broken, but was able to retrieve it for the match. And then Faria, as you said, had such a great time on court this week, getting the lucky loser spot, taking down the reigning champion in Baez. That was not going to be an easy test, obviously, because Faria was flying this week, and Etcheverry was able to grind him down. And then today, just 2 really special and difficult matchups, right? You're talking about a backhand-to-backhand battle on clay between Kopriva and Etcheverry, just very high level. And then you got to go do it again just 3 hours later against a lefty where he's just going to be going after the backhand. So, I mean, yeah, this run, it was going to be a fun kind of story for any of these players after we saw some of those upsets in the first round with Cerundolo going out, Baez going out, Fonseca going out. Like, it was kind of anyone's tournament. But Etcheverry, like, he was the one to take advantage of it, and against all odds, just being a few games away from defeating the final, finds a way to win it out.
Well, just to also point out, like, it's easy to say this now, Etcheverry's court time this week is massive. Like, 2.5 hours versus Comensana, 2 hours versus Faria, 3 hours 20 versus Gabas, but that is including rain delay, and then obviously 7 hours today. The man has been on court a lot this week. We're talking like Medvedev AO 24 kind of stuff, and he's still prevailed. And it wasn't an easy draw by any means. He could have easily gone out to Comensana first round. Comensana obviously last year had a great run. Obviously beat Zverev here last year. Zverev didn't want to make the trip back to the Golden Swing this year. But yeah, I mean, and as you say, Faria was having a great week. Came in as a lucky loser and kind of just jammed his way through the draw. Obviously beat Baez, and could have been very tricky. Potentially was tricky. Had loads of chances in that first set, Faria, and then Kopriva and then Tabilo just. This is what we love about the Golden Swing, right? It's that these players get to really showcase their standing and their grit on tour, without being overshadowed by Sinner, Alcaraz, and even though Zverev this year, which is good. But even though last year, wasn't overshadowed by Zverev, again, Comensana win. But this is why we like the Golden Swing. We think it's fantastic.
Yeah, and another reason why we like the Golden Swing is because sometimes, not everything happens for a reason. But this week it was João Fonseca losing in singles, but he does end up claiming the doubles title with Melo. So, hey, I mean, it's a win in of itself. You saw how emotional they were after the match and crying together. Just a special moment, right?
Absolutely.
That's what you mean by what the golden swing can bring out. And Fonseca can leave with at least a smile of being proud that he got a title. It wasn't probably the one that he would have preferred, but at the same time, doing it at home just means so much. So yeah, I think that's worth mentioning. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that,
42 and 19, the partnership. So age-wise,
yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Our producer is mentioning it, and it is an important topic. Fonseca, this is his third time playing Rio. What do we think about the Fonseca pressure in terms of he faces a lot of it, feels a lot of it? That's what comes with being such a hyped young teenager. All the media on him, and obviously last year he came here after winning a title. This year it's been a different story. So, how do we think he's dealing with the pressure so far?
I don't. It's tricky to know. It's almost like things just haven't quite aligned for him yet this year. Last year was amazing, but it was almost the title in Buenos Aires was almost a curse in terms of fantastic. He's won his first title of his career, which was first of many, but he's then got to fly like an hour after the trophy celebration's done straight to Rio, where he's then got to think about home crowds, home pressures. This year was different. He had time to prepare. Yes, he's been injured. Yes, he has had a lack of court time, but he didn't. I mean, freak week from Buse, right? Like he was peaking, and running into a player that is peaking at that time is just unfortunate for Fonseca, as he's still coming back from injury. But feels as though pressure won't be an issue for him in 2-3 years, when he has fully developed his game into a place where he's happy with it week in, week out. And pressure for me won't be a problem for him. It's just things haven't quite aligned for him yet. And in Rio specifically, obviously has won 2 career titles at the age of 19. So we can't say that he's not handling pressure well in big tournaments, because he can. But home pressure is a different sort of thing. How often do we see players not quite perform? Draper hasn't done it at Wimbledon yet, just as an example, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it will take another year or two before we see a final run in Rio. Made the quarters in 24, and then lost to Navone, I believe. So it's coming. We just got to be patient.
Right. And I think this sport is so harsh, Fergus, right? You don't it's very often where you're a winner for a while, because the things change quickly in this sport. And I think it's not to mention, like, this swing is so tough for a variety of reasons, but the players, man, just nothing's given for free, right? These guys are all animals on the dirt, and it just so hard to win. Like I said, just nothing's given to you. So I think that also plays into it, right? Like, it's not like Buse, yeah, he's the clear favorite, he's the home favorite, he's got the crowd, but like it doesn't mean it's just gonna be a walkover.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he looked amazing in that match either.
No.
And that could be for a number of reasons, but I think he's fine. And I think it's all about just learning to cope with it, dealing with the wins, dealing with the losses, and just trying to stay level-headed. And I think he's, maturing in front of our eyes, but he's still so young. So
yeah, I think it's also I'm just going to pick up a point you said, how brutal this swing is. In a sense, we're talking about 3 tournaments in probably the most brutal clay conditions you'll get, right? Super slow, super humid, like always night sessions. Like, it's tough. And these guys are all one of the exact same version of a player,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
They're playing themselves legitimately. like in a way, and it's so tough. So, you know, that's why we see these results in this swing. You know, we don't often see, you know, the top seed, you know, cruising through the week like we do on an indoor hardcore. You know, it's always a battle. So yeah, we just got to give Fonseca time. You know, I saw someone say the same thing about Leonard Tien, that he's a pusher, and you know but we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that.
Yeah. So yeah, that wraps up our Rio coverage. Great week for Tabio as well. A lot to be proud of, and you know, these experiences I think will only, you know, help him in the future. But what a gutsy performance from Etcheverry. This one I think should be talked about for quite a while, because 7 hours on court in one day, winning your first title, it being an ATP 500, just, you know, you can't write it any better. So super happy for him.
Jumps 18 places to 33 in the rankings. Etcheverry.
I know, and I actually just looked up before this. His career high is 27. Yeah, and that was in 24.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Santiago, I know you mentioned how, like, you know, they're so slow. At least we get to see some altitude next week in Santiago.
Yep, absolutely. But, I don't know.
He's actually drawn against a home
a home
player in Matias Soto. Yeah, who does play well.
Will he play?
I don't know. Depends. Like, if the tournament tells him, hey, we'll play on Wednesday, then I think he does.
Yeah,
but
true.
The tournament probably also wants their young home guy to go through.
Get a lucky visa.
Yeah. Well, we'll schedule it Tuesday night, and he'll make that decision tomorrow.
See what happens. Yeah, if you guys want to come along, that's fine. But
but hey, a lot of fun this week.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to our other final that took place today, which was in Delray Beach, where Sebi Korda is an ATP champion again for the first time since Washington. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just 3 weeks ago he was playing in the San Diego Challenger, and people were, I don't know. I mean, look, we live in this tough media world where people have a lot to say with every decision you make. But personally, I thought it was a great decision for him, and I think it actually helped him a lot this week. And yes, it's on the other side of the country, but San Diego plays pretty slow. Delray, I don't know. It really depends. It varies from day to night, wind. But I'd say it plays on that medium to slower side, which Korda enjoys, has a little bit more time to set up his ground stroke, such a clean ball striker. But today was an impressive performance for me, because conditions, they got really bad towards the end of the first set. And what I mean by that, for the people who don't understand, conditions on a hard court is like the wind picked up crazy. And it was clearly that was like one side, the wind behind, Sebi was doing a lot better on, and Tommy Paul was struggling into the wind. But yeah, I mean, this is like, it's a tough matchup. Tommy Paul played really well this week, and I'd say like the only thing that we question a lot with Korda is kind of the mental strength and how he deals with tough moments. And today he was up against it, as yes, he was leading by a set and a break, serving for the match, but it was quickly love 40.
Yep, it was.
Had to save many break points.
Five, I think.
Yeah, they were in that deuce battle for quite a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fergus, tell us, what do you make of this title run from Sebi Korda?
This has been a while coming. I say a while coming is actually the wrong way of putting it. Korda has such a ceiling, but he's just not put a week together in years, and that's due to injury and inconsistencies that are very unfortunate on his part. But this week, you know, the results just kept dropping his way. The performance against Kaboli was very good, and actually, we know how good Kaboli can be, even if he was dishing out 3 wins at the start of the year, right? So that was, and I think it was that point encapsulates, I don't know if you know the point that I'm talking about, against Kaboli, where he went behind the back. And everything just kind of zipped together for Korda this week, and the game plan was there. He knows these conditions really well. Paul in the finals, an interesting prospect. Is the 15th time that an American has won Delray Beach? Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. So, Paul in the finals is a tricky matchup, and even like Tommy has such an acrobatic style of tennis, right? And that could have, I think the wind doesn't help him in that. When it's windy, it doesn't really help him just because he has such a big wind, such a loose wind up. And I think, in this whole wind up situation he's got going on, there's a lot of time for the ball to be blown by the wind one way or the other, and he has to readjust and things don't quite, come off for him. And I think you obviously talk about the mental strength of things. Korda hung tough in that game, right? How easy would it have been for him to, thrown in a double fault, second break point, suddenly it's 5-all, loses it 7-5. Then
That's what I thought was going to happen.
6-2 in the third. Yeah. Paul is well versed in these sort of situations. For a guy of Seb Korda's talent, for him to only be his third title is a little bit ridiculous. But I'm glad that he got over the line. I'm glad that he's had a good start to the year, and it kind of shows how good he can be when it all comes together. We know Korda has been like a bullet waiting to be fired out of a gun, and no one's pulled the trigger for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And someone pulled the trigger this week.
Yeah, and honestly, Valdez in the comment section makes a really good point, because now, like, looking at this track record, Korda's had quite a month, I guess, in a sense. Like I said, dating back to that San Diego Challenger, where obviously the opponents were a little bit inferior, but you got Shvida in the final, and people are like, "Oh, how are you not winning that?" And it's like, I don't think it would. Yes, obviously, Korda would have loved to win the title, but it wasn't about that for him. It was about getting match fitness, getting confidence, getting rhythm. And then he took that with him into Dallas. And that's what I'm talking about at this point, because he did have Taylor Fritz on the ropes. And that was when Fritz, was dealing with a little bit of elbow tightness or whatever came up during that match. And he had loved 30 looks, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times on the Fritz serve. And, that would have been it for him. And then he's in the semis versus Chilich, probably a tight one. And then, like he could have, he could have had himself a back-to-back pretty impressive weeks there. But once again, like, the only reason why I don't think he wins that match against Fritz is because of the mental spark, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, two or three openings on that Fritz serve, and probably should have been his. But looking at the run, let's see. I mean, starts with Mickelson. Well, obviously he got through McDonald, but Mickelson, that was a tough match. That second set lasted freaking almost like an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
Break points everywhere. Impressive tie break. And then it's Ruud, who, just kind of an interesting week for Ruud. Probably not the best version of him. And slower hardcore, but still outdoor hardcore for Ruud. And his mind has been elsewhere the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, tough or probably a favorable draw, but still have to get the job done. And then, as you mentioned, Cavalli, who obviously hasn't been super confident or amazing on court, but found some rhythm here this week.
Finally found some rhythm, yeah.
So, it was no pushover in that sense. But, today, just like a very composed final from Korda.
Yeah, very, yeah.
Even in that first set, Tommy Paul, back-to-back openings on serve. I think he had 15-30 a few times, was able to hold, and then really just started applying pressure in that final game where he was able to break into the set. And once again, like a little bit of a roller coaster, because he comes out and gets broken to start the second. And you're like, okay, well, almost chalk it up to 3, but
straight back.
Wins 3 consecutive games, and the match flips on its head yet again. So, that's the sort of improvement that I think we've all been waiting for. Obviously, the health is like the biggest asterisk, but confidence, that sort of like composure and belief that he showed, a little bit more gritty in a sense. with the kind of the emotion he was showing, after some big points. So yeah, like for me, a lot of positive takeaways, and like let's see what happens from here. Because man, I mean, once the guy gets going, he's tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And today was good. He had the belief in himself after, the Paul serve is an interesting one, mainly because I think it's attackable for sure. And in the wind is it's not going to be, he's not going to be bombing it down, like especially on second serve. Feel as though Korda had more looks at the Tommy serve than Tommy did at Korda. And it felt as though as much as he could have a look, he felt like he was just building to that point where he would finally fully strike. He had the belief in himself that he could, have 15-30, maybe not break that game, but look at for the next game where he can go, yeah, I'll take my opportunity this time. Tommy's put a couple bad points together and yeah, Calder strikes again.
Yeah. And Fergus, you'll laugh at this. We should have known he was winning the title, because if you think back to Stockholm, we did a preview between Ruud and Korda, and I mentioned, I'm like, whoever's winning the title. And Ruud won it in Stockholm that week, and then they got to play again here.
Oh my god!
And Korda takes the title.
You have no idea how long ago that feels like now.
I know.
Oh my god.
One more thing to mention, like when you think of Seb Korda, I don't necessarily like think of variety, but today, like the reason why you don't think about it is just because of how clean of a ball striker he is, that he doesn't really need to use it. But today in these conditions, I thought it was really, really, impactful and also just like important. I think he was able to get Tommy Paul off balance a lot, and that's kind of credit to like how you describe Tommy Paul in terms of his aerobic. Is that what you're going with? Acrobatic type of play. It felt like a lot of the misses came from Tommy being put off balance, kind of on his back foot, fading away on these forehands. But Seb, especially with the wind behind him, was able to use like the backhand slice to the Tommy Ball backhand, and it was staying low. The wind was behind it, and I think that caused a lot of problems for Tommy. Kind of didn't really know where to go from there. So that's my takeaway there. A few other players that we want to mention. Fritzy didn't look all there for me in that Tommy Paul match.
Feels
still wasn't far off.
Yeah, it feels as though Fritz was like a, it was like take it or leave it kind of week for Fritz. Obviously, bigger week was in Dallas last week, and the knee issues, the elbow issues, just kind of felt as though he could take it or leave it if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, nothing particularly to report on Fritz's part.
I'm with you.
Feel as though he could have, made the final again this week, but again, for me, Fritz isn't that kind of player that grinds week in, week out. So
yeah, loves to play a lot. But Lerner Tien shows out again, probably like pretty favorable outdoor conditions for him, if you will.
Absolutely favorable outdoor conditions.
But
yeah,
let me mention, I don't know if this has like happened before, but Kuzmanovic was serving for the match against him. Tiafo was serving for the match against him. Almost pulled it out last night too. That would have been like quite the run.
What did I say last week about Kuzmanovic? You absolutely never want to see this bloke in your draw. Ever.
No, I know, and I actually mentioned
the man's a tricky customer in all and defending, championship points this week. Obviously, this time last year we were watching Kuzmanovic save 3 championship points versus Fekina. And he took the title. But yeah, I mean, Tien, I don't know. Tien, well, it was a good week, and maybe it was definitely favorable conditions. But again, it kind of felt Paul just had more in the locker in that it just this week entirely. Feel as though Tien didn't quite put it like. Did he play Delray Beach last year?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
So this is maybe just a little bit. Usually, these Delray Beach conditions are usually a little bit different to other, apart from Indian Wells, which is vastly different. Not really something that he's come across too much in America, and Paul just more versed at Delray entirely. So feel as though Paul had the upper hand coming in anyway, even though Tien's, overall has more to go off this year. Producer asking Zach saying that Tien has top 5 potential.
Let's start with top 10.
Yeah, let's not count our chickens before we hatch, right? Come on.
I mean, the guy he gets a lot of wins. But it gets pretty crowded and competitive once you get to that sort of
needs
top 10,
to
top
win
12 arc.
Oh my god, it's so crowded. Top 8 to top 30 is crowded. It's
Clay. Period.
We're thinking I need to see Tien win a 500 next, and then we'll start talking, because the man only has 1 title and 1 final. No, he doesn't. That's a lie. He has multiple finals. 3, I think. Lost to Sinner in Beijing.
Yeah.
And then obviously Metz, and then I'm trying to think. Maybe it's just 2. Never mind.
Yeah. Good call though. Good call. Kecmanovic, I was curious kind of about how he was going to go about this week, because as you mentioned, defending title points. I don't know if he has another title. So I'm
not sure.
I don't know. Maybe something back in like 23 or 22.
I think he does, actually. I think he does.
Okay. But I was like, all right, he did play well in Dallas, in my opinion. Tommy Paul stole that match from him, as we talked about, but probably should have done it against Tien, and then who knows from there.
Yeah. One in 2020 in Kitzbühel.
That's pretty fitting.
That's just so Kecmanovic.
Yeah.
Unreal. Also, if you're Kecmanovic and you're looking at the entry list, you are like, what the hell? The all years where we have what was it, 11 players in the top 30 playing Delray Beach. It's like the draws, the entry list is insane. And he's like, oh great, I'm defending championship points here, and I'm gonna play Fritz round 2, potentially. Wicked.
Yeah. A few other players to mention. Tiafo.
Better week.
Still the same kind of feeling I have with him.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I'm expecting more.
Yeah.
I'm expecting we can't the guy can't go 80% of his career with us thinking he's going to turn up for 2 months of the year. Something needs to be different. I love Francis as well, so I'm really hoping that something comes around. Clay's a non-starter for him, we know that. So we need something big in the next. Is he playing next week? I don't think so. Dali's making the trip out to Acapulco.
Really?
I doubt it. Sorry. And then
he did take an MTO for his leg, which kind of revamped him, but
I don't think he's playing this week. And then obviously Indian Wells and then Miami.
Yeah. And then Houston Clay Court. Who knows?
Oh, bro. Okay.
I can't speak. Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
He's playing.
I was gonna say, because I barely even glanced at the draw. I was kind of waiting for qualities to be placed and then go from there. But I mean, that's good from a health perspective. That's good.
No,
Borges. Once again, I don't 50-50 in my eyes. I don't know. Especially on that court,
oh, it's just gonna be 3 hours. They're both gonna be absolutely dripping in sweat. Yeah.
Coleman Wong, worth a shout out. Coleman, if you're listening, great week, man. I think his game is interesting. He's made a little bit of, he's just kind of had these small little runs, kind of randomly in the schedule. Think back to Miami last year, taking down Shelton in round 1. Things happen. Got a big serve, kind of that shovel or kind of like rocket-esque backhand that kind of gets through the surface. Forehand's okay. So just very athletic player too. We saw him battle in the US Open, took Rublev to 4 or 5 maybe. So the guy's got game and nice for him to have a little run here. So I think he's playing in a quali final tonight in Acapulco. So maybe he gets into a main draw again.
Yes.
At the 500 level.
Well, I mean, made quarterfinals of Hong Kong earlier this year.
Yep. That's right. That's right. So yeah, he's someone to monitor for sure.
I don't know who he's got tonight, but he's got Kipson.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be a battle. Obviously, a lot of tennis for him if you go back to the start of the week. So
very much.
We'll see how he's feeling. But yeah, I think that wraps up Delray Beach for us.
Yeah,
I think so.
Absolutely.
All right. Beautiful. Moving on to our final tournament, which actually finished up yesterday. So that's why we were visiting it last. But it's Carlos Alcaraz continues his perfect 2026 season, now 30-0 on outdoor hard courts. That's a streak that he has going right now. Really just a spectacular week. But also it was fun because he definitely got tested this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Even back to Royer being down a break in the second.
Yeah, exactly. Royer just I wasn't watching that match because I was like, yeah, whatever, Alcaraz and like 6-4, 6-2 or whatever. And then I saw Royer was 4-2 up in the second. I was like, hold on, what are we doing here? Like, obviously we know Carlos can like have like 15-minute spells where he completely like disappears and then comes back. So I was like, oh, like what's happening? But the like arguably the match of the year so far, as in on main tour, not slams, was Kachanov Alcaraz. Yeah. Just unreal. The quality was so high, and I don't know. It was like I tweeted this, that you feel as though you're slowly being strangled by him the longer you go on in the match, right? The further and further into the match you get, the more likely it is that you could get to 6-all in the third and you still feel like Carlos has like a vice grip on you, that he's just going to get it done. Like, it doesn't matter. He'll inevitably get it done.
Yeah.
And it proves again.
Yeah, I mean, such a high level from Karen too. I feel like he loves these conditions in the Middle East. I think he feels good there and
won the title in 24.
Right. I mean, the guy plays well.
Beat Mensik, the final.
Yes. Oh, that was a good day. I was talking about that week that Mensik had earlier. When he came on the scene, that was a lot of fun.
Mensik played that classic versus Murray.
Yes, that's right. Pete, thanks for the kind words.
Thanks, Pete.
We're enjoying ourselves here. So, but yeah, I mean, to get back to it, like, it almost feels like Carlos is getting better at his movement, but his like ability to turn defense into offense, and that is scary.
He's so scary.
On top of that, as you mentioned, like, I was kind of like, how much does Karen have left in the tank? Like, that first set was a banger.
Yeah.
It was brutal on both ends, but Carlo, it was almost like okay, I just have to stretch this match out even longer, and Karen did good, but I mean, you got to give Alcaraz credit, because that was just like, I'm the best player in the world type of performance.
Yeah. Honestly, the guy's just quite good at tennis. Like, the more I watch Carlos like play it, the final against Feast was like lights out for like an hour, and what was it? Oh, it was less than an hour. It was like 58 minutes, wasn't it? And like, Feast, we'll get on to Feast in a minute, but like, Feast was was playing so well the entire week. And like, I was thinking, okay, maybe this will probably be in straights, because like Feast is going to run out of gas eventually, right? Played a bit of a a long one against Mensik, and the guy's coming back from injury. But he just absolutely ripped Fils apart. And this is unplayable, completely unplayable. The forehand on the run is Carlos is hitting full forehands in areas of the court that every other player on tour would be putting up a defensive lob. And
such a good point. Yeah.
And every other player on tour, even De Minaur, who's arguably the fastest man on tour, well, arguably actually is the fastest man on tour, is still putting up a defensive forehand lob in that moment, and Carlos is hitting full forehands. The guy is so incredibly hard to pass. It's like playing a brick wall, but the brick wall is the span of the entire court plus another 5 feet. It's ridiculous. And then you drop shot him, and the guy's lightning fast. He's up to the ball in nose time. It's just ridiculous. And you do wonder how he ever loses. You can't play. Even if you play lights out, you still need Carlos to play 65% to even think about beating him. The fact the Nori loss is the Nori loss just makes this every single week that passes makes the Nori loss look even weirder to what actually happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're what the hell's going on here? What do you mean? All due respect to Nori, everyone knows I'm a huge Nori fan. But what is going on? I just think the guy would just our producer was mentioning it earlier, will he do the calendar slam? No, I don't think so. I think Sinek gets one this year. But I just think Alcaraz is just unreal.
I say this with a little bit of caution, but Doha might just be the perfect conditions for Carlos. And he might win this tournament over and over and over and over and over again. Because if he goes at the rate he's going, and he's gonna win a lot of Australian Opens, he's gonna take that Rotterdam week off, and then he'll get his paycheck to get dropped down in Doha, and he'll feel fresh, kind of just having fun out there. And it looked like he was having a lot of fun this week.
Yeah.
Apart from when he got called for time violations.
That he was.
That was quite a story in Doha.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he goes, the ATP rules, they're bullshit. That's it's.
I can't remember the umpire's name. I can't remember her name, but she is on it. If you ever watched a full match with her as umpire, she does not take any BS. She is so. She just doesn't care that it's Carlos. She's sorry, this is the rules. You're getting pulled up on it. And even Karen was it's okay, let it go, it's fine, I don't care. And she was no, these are the rules. I'm not. Yeah, but
yeah. No, but anyway, yes, Carlos Alcaraz's English is definitely taking a step forward. It has. But anyway, came back to Doha hungry from last year. Remember, he lost Lehechka. I think he was up a set and a break in that match too, and then kind of went into Alcaraz hangout mode, and Lehechka took advantage of it. But yeah, from Karen, he went to another Russian in Rublev, who brought his A game and gave him another fight. Forehand battles all night, but Alcaraz once again just showing the level he's capable of bringing in those big moments. It's just different from anyone else, even Sinner to me.
Yeah.
So
the shift that Carlos can produce from defense into attack is unbelievable, simply because what I mentioned earlier is that his width, in terms of his span of hitting a defensive shot to playing an attacking shot, is the widest on the ATP tour in the world. The guy you can try putting away a volley, and the guy's there. like, and no one else on tour will be there. And it makes your margins, like we say with de Minaur especially, that he makes the court so tiny, right? But that's because de Minaur, like, compared to Alcaraz, has very small weapons, like, or no weapons, right? It's you're playing someone that makes the court look absolutely tiny, and when you don't hit those margins, it's he's just making your life very tricky. The biggest one that points out to that, like, sticks out to me, where Carlos was playing well, but his opponent was also playing really well and hit every single line, was Dimitrov, Miami 24.
Oh,
where Dimitrov hit every single line possible and returned unbelievably, especially backhand cross back out wide to Carlos. And he hit every single line possible. That is the last time I've seen Alcaraz being beaten when he wasn't playing badly and someone was just redlining completely, and played in that 10 to 5% margin for the entire match and won.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah, because even in that Rublev match, a little bit shaky. Like, he actually failed to serve out the match. He had 3 match points in that game.
Serve was super shaky.
Yeah, and you kind of look back on the week and you're just like, he played so well. But yeah, there are still those moments, right? Like, that's why the sport is so good. Like, you just have to find ways to do it against different opponents each and every round. And even the best in the world has to do that. So just shows you what it takes. But there are a lot of other big stories out of Doha. I guess let's touch on the final quickly, and then we'll recycle to some other names.
Yeah.
But Arthur Fils, obviously a great job getting here. Heck of a run. But for me, going into Saturday, I kind of saw this coming. Yes, the 9.7 performance rating was amazing, but I don't think Fils was all there. One, his game or the belief even going into it. So I think everything just kind of looked better on the Alcaraz side. But yeah, I just think it was kind of one match too many in terms of what Fils is prepared for. But I think Fils would tell you this is an A+ week. Or we'll go with A. The A+ would have come with the title. Given the draw, definitely an A in terms of the week. Playing 5 matches in 6 days, or I think that's what it was. So and with 3 of them being back to back to back, just great performance. Found himself in quite a bit of serving trouble, like facing a lot of break points, especially in that Lehechka match, but kept finding ways to prevail. And it's just so much fun to see Arthur Fils back on the court, because he's one of those dynamic athletes and movers and players that I think belongs in like that top tier category of the Runas of the game. Obviously Alcaraz, even Fonseca in that sense, where he just has like the pop and the ground strokes to bring that high level. And definitely just a lot of fun seeing him back on court.
Yeah. And like Fils has had like a rough I guess 8 months, 6 months, 8 months. The guy didn't play since Montreal.
Yeah, essentially, I like to say, we'll call it the French Open, which I tagged was 250 days between French Open win. Actually, it was a win and withdrawal, and Montpellier, his debut in Montpellier. So 250 days essentially off.
That classic versus Menard. The guys played no tennis, right? Like, in comparison to everyone else on tour who's playing like week in, week out. Great, fantastic week, and also beat Mensik, which was a huge win for him in terms of confidence and, going the distance and kind of, setting himself as, is stamping his authority, especially after Mensik beat Sinner, which we'll get onto in a minute. Stamping and saying, I'm Mensik was trying to like put out there, I'm with these guys, we're chasing down these guys, and Feast just kind of saying, yes, so am I, right? I may have not played in 250 days, and yet I'm still here with this crowd, challenging these guys. And I feel like the Mensik win was very mentally draining for him in terms of just getting over the line. Especially, it would have been an emotional win for him, making a first final since Tokyo 24. It's a big moment for him, and the final was just always going to be super tricky with Alcaraz redlining, and you kind of, if you're just a bit slow starting, and then suddenly you're 4-1 down, and things get away from you very quickly. So no shame whatsoever in Feast losing in that final in the way he did. But A star, sorry. A grade week.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned it, yeah, as I said, a few other storylines out of Doha, and it's quite a big one. It's Jannik Sinner, who, lost to Djokovic, and he's playing his first tournament back since the Australian Open, and gets Mensik, which I don't think anyone would say we saw him really gonna be losing or even tested this week until the final, where he would likely meet Alcaraz. But it was Mensik who put on quite the performance, even from the first set, the breaker, winning that, and Jannik with a very good response in terms of the second set, the score line, and taking his serve with him into the third. But it's Mensik who does do the upset. So, what do you make of Sinner this week? Do things change in your mind at all?
Things don't change in my mind. Sinner is still Sinner. Maybe the mechanics of the robot are slowly starting to break. Not break's the wrong word. Falter.
Yeah.
Let's say falter. Mensik was playing like he did in Miami, where he was just playing absolutely lights out. Like every single time he was in a spot bowler, the serve would get him out of trouble, especially up the tee. The guy smacks that crossover tee line like it's nobody's business, especially in big moments. And the backhand is so good. Like you struggle to find a way to pick a side on where to pass, right? And on where to approach to try and make them hit the pass. Mensik will just redline for 2 sets. And the key thing is Sinner has faced that kind of performance before and found a way over the line anyway. But he didn't this time. And that is a huge, everyone on the ATP tour should be like clapping their hands thinking, right, like the guy's not impossible to beat. Like Bublik, Haller was freak, right? Absolute freak moment. Yep. Bublik, we know, can play absolutely nuts. And that was just a freak incident. All credit to Bublik. This is different. This is a situation where Sinner has shown weakness, and his opponent has prevailed in a match where Sinner arguably played some of his, worst tennis in years in that third set. And especially in that final game where he was serving to stay in the match, produces some errors that you really don't see from Sinner at all. So this is just, and this was bound to happen, right? The guy's been unbelievable for 2 years, like lost to next to no one apart from Alcaraz for 2 years. This like mini dip was bound to come. But we have to remember the guy's defending absolutely nothing till Rome. The guy could lose every single match till Rome and it not affect his ranking whatsoever.
Yeah, so, it's true. It's true. I think we might have talked about, last week, it's like, there's no one even going to come close. So it doesn't matter. It's still the 2-horse race in that sense, ranking wise. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like Sinner's someone who doesn't show much emotion to us, but he told us in the pressers like he's confident he'll right the ship, that things will get back to how they should be, and his focus is on the Sunshine Double now, and kind of see what happens from there. But yeah, for me, like definitely surprising on these courts and these conditions, but Mensik, he does have good memories here, right? This is kind of where he broke out as a young teenager, and the backhand on full display, forehand's not as much rushed, and so yeah, I think all credit to Mensik for getting that win, and then he just wasn't able to follow it up against Fees. I think after such a big result like that, it is always difficult to follow it up. But yeah, once again, like just so many good players in this draw. Like there wasn't like a poor matchup. Kind of from like the quarterfinals on. I mean, it was just amazing players and amazing matches. So always a fun week. Such a great tournament, and yeah, we get one more fun week where we have different surfaces, different locations, kind of different player fields, and yeah, it'll be another packed week. We got Acapulco, we got Dubai, and we got Santiago. So look, a lot to look forward to.
Do we want to
go ahead
quickly three, like we did last week?
Yeah.
Three
How do we do, by the way? I think I said Baez, huh?
I mean, I said Altmaier, so things could have been worse. And then I think you said Paul.
Did I?
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, so I almost went 2 for 3.
I said Tien. And then I think for
Doha, I said Carlos. And
I said Sinner. Yeah, because I said I'll play devil's advocate. That didn't work, did it? I just want to say, we were talking about Mensik breaking out. Was he was a wild card for Doha 24?
Was he?
I think he was a wild card because he was under 18, and if you're under 18 ranked inside top 250, you are entitled to 2 250 appearances as a wild card, and you can choose. And at the time, Doha was a 250.
Yeah.
And he chose that, so he was a wild card that week, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That was an epic.
Yeah.
He did have Murray, yeah, you said? And then I remember he played Monteith and maybe the semis.
Beat Rublev in the quarters, and then lost to Kachanov in the final. It was Anyway, I was just thinking that was
all right. Well,
okay, so
let's do it.
Santiago.
Okay, Santiago. Let's start there. A little bit of altitude, like I mentioned. Big week for Jari, as
oh my god, so big
for a number of reasons, but Cerundolo is playing this. Was dealing. That was a big. I know we didn't talk about it, but that was kind of a big storyline. Him kind of calling out the Rio Open about favoritism, and they even released a statement being like, no, that's not what we do. It's like, and then Navone actually came on Twitter and was like, it was like defending Cerundolo in that sense, which I thought was kind of interesting. But top seed Cerundolo. Darderi is back at it after a good essentially week off after his early loss to Juanma Cerundolo. Baez is back. He was in the final here last year versus Jerry. Is Jerry playing this?
I can't see him in the draw.
I don't.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He's got Prismic round 1. Oh, that's rough. And then he's got Etcheverry if he plays round 2.
Oh, I meant Laszlo Jiri. Sorry, because he was in the final here. No, he won it. Sorry. So he must be hurting.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you meant Jari. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I didn't do well with the pronunciation. All right. Anyway, who are you going with? Elmer Muller is in the draw, which is exciting.
He is. I'm gonna go Berrettini.
Ooh, okay. I don't mind that call, especially
the altitude, just a little bit of extra pop. This is the kind of title that I can just see Berrettini winning and then kick-starting his year.
Yeah, and this tournament has some, how would I say, a little bit of ground to make up in a sense from the conditions. Last year we had power outages. You just never really know. Yeah, Martinez. I mean, he's woken up a bit. But I am gonna go with Darderi. taking the title in Santiago.
Okay.
And one player that I do want to give attention to, and that's Daniel Vallejo, who came through qualies from Paraguay. Like, he's one of these really good clay players that I think has a really bright future, and kind of like next year this time, hopefully he's in the main draw of these tournaments in the Golden Swing and showing himself. But who knows? He maybe gets through that first round against Pissarro and takes on Berrettini. But anyway, Darderi and you said Berrettini. Respectfully, let's go to Dubai next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not going to have Quali's place, but in Acapulco, but that's okay. Let's see. Felix is the top seed in Dubai, with Bublik being the second. Draper is back. Tsitsipas defending champion. Talk to me. Quick conditions.
Yeah.
Server paradise.
Now I'm gonna put this out there. Now I'm not gonna say Draper because I'm not James and I'm not like I'm not gonna go Felix either. I'm gonna go with Rublev.
Oh, I like Rublev too in this draw. This is gonna be a very fun tournament in terms of the names, conditions suiting everyone pretty good.
Yeah, draw's very good. Yeah, I like it. Wawrinka again playing well.
Oh, that's right. Good call.
Probably actually kind of has a very good chance to make round 2, and then we get Wawrinka Medvedev.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Medvedev is the only other name kind of like jumping out to me. I'm gonna take
Medvedev's
him.
got Shang second week running first round.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. Felix was in the finals here last year, so let's see. I am gonna go with, but is he on offset watch? Can ZZZ take him down early? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna Feast Lehechka round 1.
That's right, and they just played.
Humbert Tsitsipas as well. Tsitsipas Mensik Hurkacz. Oh my god.
I know.
Oof, draw's good.
Draw's very good. So you're going with Rublev. I'm gonna go with Medvedev.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? A little bounce back.
Okay. And then Acapulco.
Zverev is going to be the top seed here. Interesting decision. I don't really know.
Played last year, lost to Tien, obviously.
That's right.
Only lefty Zverev has lost to in the last 4 years.
40, in 42 matches.
Yeah, something like that.
Lighter draw, even for a 500, but as you mentioned, high bouncing, slower surface.
Heavy.
Oki was in the final here versus Mahatch last year.
Mahatch was not even down to play Acapulco. He was supposed to play Dubai, and
he just withdrew.
Yeah, withdrew.
Which is odd to me because it was you saw his Instagram post. He's like, might as well have fun with a terrible draw, and he's hanging out in the desert.
Yeah.
Huh.
I know who I'm going.
2 seed.
Yeah. The guys, I mean, will he make it the hat trick of Acapulco titles? I'm going to go Dimonal.
I like it. I might throw this one out there. Give me Casper Ruud. Got a tournament under his belt. Goes to a little bit more clay court-esque conditions for a hard court. I like it.
The guy was playing so well in Australia, and then obviously was with his wife, and then comes back, gets a free tournament under his belt, right? Has nothing to really think about. Then kind of comes back 500, 1,000, kind of, don't mind it.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll check back once again, but thanks everyone for tuning in. Fergus, thank you for joining at this extremely late hour.
Thank you very much.
Very impressive out of you, and always appreciate your passion. With that being said, another great week in the books, and we got more tennis and another great week ahead of us.
Always.
Thanks everyone for joining,
Thanks,
and
guys.
until next time.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.